Those solar panels weren't approved, Daniel. You're in violation. Again. Linda taps her clipboard sharply. Daniel holds up a signed form. You signed this yourself, Linda. Or did you forget? Linda squints at the panels. They don't match my approval. I'm reporting this. Daniel pulls out his phone. And I'll be recording everything. He hits record as Linda's face tightens. I never imagined I'd become the target of our homeowners association president's fury. But life has a way of throwing curveballs. 2 years ago, when my wife and I moved into Meadowview Heights, we were drawn by the tree-lined streets and neat rows of homes that looked plucked from a catalog. At the welcome barbecue, over potato salad and sweet tea, neighbors offered cheerful greetings and quiet warnings. Watch out for Linda, one man said with a tight smile, nodding toward a woman in a pressed pantsuit overseeing the grill like a general. Linda Harper, another whispered, HOA president, runs the place like her own fiefdom. I laughed it off. How bad could a neighborhood busybody be? As it turned out, bad enough to land herself in handcuffs, her reputation in ruins, in our once quiet suburb divided by scandal. It started small, my front lawn. I kept it tidy, mowed, edged, respectable. But during a brutal drought, I refused to water it 3 times a week like some 1950s throwback. My wife and I had just installed drought-resistant landscaping, pebbles, native plants, and a little sign that read, "Conserve today, bloom tomorrow." Linda, cruising by in her gleaming silver SUV, didn't take kindly to my eco-conscious rebellion. Her own lawn, a fluorescent green carpet, looked like it belonged on a golf course. Mine? It was beige, real. At first it was just notes, folded neatly into my mailbox, written in teal ink with a loopy smiley face at the end that felt more threatening than friendly. A friendly reminder, she wrote, Meadowview Heights lawns must remain green and lush at all times. She underlined all so hard it nearly tore the page. I brought it up at the next HOA meeting, calmly explaining that the water restrictions made her expectations unreasonable. I even printed out county guidelines and handed them out. Linda sat at the head of the table, her blonde ponytail rigid as a broom handle, and gave a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We all love the planet, Daniel," she said in that syrupy, condescending tone. "But the rules are the rules." There were uneasy glances around the room. Nobody challenged her, but I wasn't backing down. A week later, a $75 violation notice arrived for failing to maintain neighborhood standards. I paid it, gritting my teeth, but decided I wasn't going to be bullied. I installed a tasteful sign in my yard. Eco-friendly landscaping in progress, saving 900 gallons a month. Perfectly legal under temporary signage rules. That day, Linda's SUV circled the block 3 times. I caught her on my doorbell cam snapping photos like she was casing a crime scene. Then came the solar panels. We'd planned them for months. Sleek, modern, low profile. The installation took a day, and by evening, I had clean energy flowing to the house. The next morning, Linda was at my door, clipboard clutched like a weapon. "These were not approved by the architectural committee," she said, smile razor sharp. I held up the approval letter. "Actually, they were. You signed it yourself in February." Her smile twitched. "These don't match the panel description. I'll have to review this again." From that moment, it was war. Every week brought a new violation. My trash can was curbside a half hour too long. My Christmas lights were installed 2 days early. I left my car in the driveway during garage cleaning. Each fine was steeper than the last, but I documented everything. Timestamps, photos, recordings. I submitted rebuttals with proof, and I won. Every time. Neighbors started whispering. Some said I was baiting her. Others quietly thanked me. But Linda didn't care about the neighborhood anymore. She cared about beating me. The final straw came when I planted a small vegetable garden in my backyard. Nothing visible from the street, just a few raised beds tucked behind our 6-foot fence. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers. I even rigged a rain barrel system to keep it off-grid. 3 weeks in, I got a text from my neighbor Tom. "You might want to see this." Attached was a blurry video from his security cam. Linda climbing onto her husband's shoulders, peering over my fence like a cartoon burglar. She nearly toppled over trying to get a better view. At first I laughed, but then came the emergency HOA meeting. Linda stood at the front of the room, waving a folder of blurry photos. "This backyard agricultural project poses a zoning issue," she declared. "Gardens attract pests, lower property values. We must act." I calmly pulled out the HOA bylaws and read them aloud. Private gardens are permitted for personal use, provided they are maintained and not visible from the street. She turned red, her words stuttering. The board, clearly exhausted, declined to take action. I thought I'd won. 2 nights later, I was out watering when I noticed something off. The water in my rain barrel was cloudy. It smelled sharp, like bleach. I tested it. Cleaning agents. Someone had poured chemicals into my rainwater supply. My heart dropped. That water could have poisoned my plants. Worse, it could have endangered my kids if they'd gotten near it. I pulled the security footage. There she was. Linda, on my property line, holding a bottle. The video didn't show the exact moment of pouring, but the implication was obvious. I called the non-emergency police line, expecting a warning or citation at most. What I got was a full investigation. Tampering with a water source can fall under environmental poisoning statutes, one officer explained, especially if there's risk to children or animals. They took samples, questioned me, documented everything. Every fine, every violation I'd contested, every neighbor who had a story. One officer asked, "Would you like to press charges?" I hesitated. This was my neighbor. She lived across the street. We'd waved once. Now I was imagining her in court, but I saw my wife's face, tired, tense. I thought of my kids running through the garden. What if they'd touched the tainted water? "Yes," I said, "I will." 2 days later, I heard a commotion outside. Peering through the blinds, I saw 2 officers on Linda's porch. She stepped out in a bathrobe, yelling, hands flailing. I recorded the whole thing on my phone, and then they cuffed her. Linda Harper, the Queen of Meadowview Heights, marched into a police cruiser while a dozen neighbors stood on their lawns, stunned. The charges: criminal trespass, vandalism, and attempted poisoning. The DA later said the case was strong. Between the footage, water tests, and a mountain of petty harassment, they were confident, even if she pled it down. That evening, the HOA held an emergency meeting. The room crackled with energy. George, the vice president, stood up. "For too long, one person's control has defined this community. That ends now." Linda was unanimously removed. Her replacement? Ellen Simmons, the retired librarian with a heart of gold. She stammered a thank you, clearly overwhelmed. Linda's life unraveled quickly. She was a well-known realtor. Her face was on bus benches, local newsletters, even shopping carts. The next morning, I saw workers peeling her photo off the bench near our entrance. By noon, a headline popped up: "Local realtor's license suspended pending ethics investigation." Her real estate career, dead in the water. That night, I pulled into my driveway. Across the street, Linda stood on her porch. Her once pristine hair was tangled, her posture slumped. Our eyes met. "You've destroyed me," she screamed, voice hoarse. "My life, my job, all because of your stupid garden." Neighbors peeked through curtains. Her husband stepped outside, gently tugging her inside. She sobbed as the door slammed shut. I stood there stunned. Part of me felt victorious. She'd terrorized us for months. She deserved consequences. But another part felt something else. Sadness? Pity? I wasn't sure. All I'd wanted was peace, a place to raise my kids, grow a few tomatoes, not war. Meadowview Heights is quieter now. The HOA works collaboratively. The fines have all but vanished. Neighbors wave more. We talk. There's trust again. Still, people talk. Some call me a hero. Others whisper I took it too far. All I know is I stood my ground. I live by my values. And I protected my family. The cost? More than I expected. But maybe, just maybe, it's worth it. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful true stories. Your support allows us to keep delivering valuable insights and stories that inform and inspire people everywhere. Thank you for watching Work Story, and see you in the next one.